What's up, guys? And today's video is going to be an anticipating long overdue review video. I ended up getting this one at Target, which it is a Target exclusive, and here we have Carnage from the Spider-Man animated TV show. Definitely a great figure in my opinion. Not really too liking the price point of this because I believe it was $24.99, which it is a lot for this kind of figure. As you guys can see on the back of the box, you guys do have some brief description as well as details of Carnage as well, and how to place some of the accessories that he comes with. Overall, not a bad figure. If this is actually going to end up being my first Carnage figure altogether. I don't have a Venom, so I do need to get that sometime soon, which Walmart did come out with the same version, kind of like that retro animated Venom figure, so we're gonna have to keep an eye out for that one right there. Overall, a great figure. You guys can see the different detail and paint scope of this as well. So let's go ahead and unbox this and go straight to the accessories first. Here we have a tray shot of Carnage. I'm gonna go ahead and get the accessories out first before we look at the actual figure. So first bit of accessory, we do have this axe like thing right here, which isn't really all that bad. You guys can see the detail, the black and red, not that bad. Pretty hard plastic as well. You guys can see that he does peg right there on the hand. The next accessory is like this knife or weapon sword thing that he does iconically have in the TV show. Overall, not bad, and it doesn't really feel all that cheap. It feels pretty firm. I'm trying to bend it, doesn't really bend all that easily. And of course, we have some of this back detail right here, which I'm not sure if I'll apply this depending on how it looks. So this part here is hard plastic, but these tentacle like things are very soft, and you could probably move them around any way you want, especially when you're posing him. Overall, not a bad thing in my opinion as far as accessories wise. Let's go ahead and put this aside and get Carnage here and do an actual in-depth review on Carnage. So here we have my first Carnage figure. Overall, pretty satisfied. Honestly, the way it looks really good. The only thing I noticed I didn't like is a little bit of chipping here on the eye. Not sure exactly what that's from. If you guys can actually see that, that's something that I don't like. They should have better painting. You guys can see a little chip right there. I mean, for $24, you want to make sure that your figure is good, but the quality control there isn't that great, to be honest. But overall, you could easily touch that up. But I'm just going to give you my honest opinion how I feel about this figure altogether. But the way it looks, definitely a great gruesome looking figure. You guys can see he's all red with the accents of black veins basically. Overall, not too bad. His mouth does look kind of scary looking, his sharp teeth, and it is a soft rubber, so you can move it around. It's not articulated in any way, like the jaw doesn't open or close. Now surprisingly, this version does not have like a excessive tongue, which he does usually have a tongue sometimes, but this version gets opt out of it. It would have been nice to have an additional head sculpt, but still not a bad figure for the price point, I guess, considering they don't release Carnage all that often. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the articulation first before looking at the rest of the details. Obviously, he's going to have double jointed knees, which is good for any kind of Spider-Man figure. You guys can see his feet do articulate forward and back on the hinge, and he does have toes, and they're also sharp, which is kind of weird. I don't remember them looking like toes. I thought they were just flat like normal, but still kind of a nice detail, I guess, for this figure. He does have thigh swivel right here, along as the calf swivel, as I mentioned before. He does go around right here, which is really good. And when it comes to ab crunch, he does have a great deal of forward ab crunch, and on the back, pretty good as well. And he does have butterfly joints, which is actually a great addition to having this kind of figure. So for you could have excessive possibilities for the posing, really good in my opinion. Now when it comes to the head sculpt, he does go up somewhat, not really that much. I wish it would have went a little bit more higher, but still not too bad. When he goes down, he looks down pretty good as well. Very menacing like, and his fingers are also really well detailed. You guys can see that they are claw-like figures. You guys can see that his fingers are claw-like, which is really good, really crazy, creepy looking. Now they're not articulated in any way. It is somewhat of a soft rubber, so I'm not sure if you can break that by accident, but still a nice addition to this figure as well. He does have the swivel right here on the bicep, double jointed elbows as well, and his arms can go pretty high, I think. Not too bad in my opinion, as well as his legs can only go like this. When it goes forward, it can go pretty good forward and decently back as well. His hands obviously can do a 360. He does have the peg on the back, so you guys can put that accessory piece, which we'll probably do here in a little bit. And also to add more detail to this figure, they have this little soft tentacle plastic here on the arms and the legs as well. It is fairly soft plastic, so it is movable. I'm not sure if it potentially could break in the near future, but it is glued on here, so you don't have to worry about it falling off. Overall, not too bad. Now the joint here is pretty good, doesn't feel like it's gonna break at all. Now if this was pinless, I think it would make this a whole lot better, but I guess I really cannot complain for the price point, especially being $24.99. I mean, it's kind of good, but not really. When it comes to the head sculpt, you guys can see that detail, how his eyes go all the way around the head, which is actually really good. Pretty iconic. Now the head sculpt isn't exactly as you would think from the animated show, but overall it's pretty on point. You guys can see all this detail. I'm gonna go ahead and add some of these accessories so you guys can see exactly what this would look like with everything on it. So here we have all his weapons attached. Now you guys can see how excessive this sword looks. Very big, half the size of his body, which is actually pretty cool, as well as his axe. Now I know Carnage is really well known of having these excessive weapons, so I really feel like maybe when displaying him I might keep these weapons on. If they don't prevent him from standing or just from being posed, I think I might keep him on there for a while just to see what it'll look like, if I could really pose them really well with these weapons. I'm not sure if I'll keep both of them, but they both look pretty good in my opinion, especially with the tentacles here in the back. He looks very crazy, very excessive. So much different possibilities as far as articulation. Overall, not bad at all. So I'm going to go ahead and stand him right next to other Spider-Man figures I have, so you guys can see the scaling and or the detail if you can match up with other versions of Spider-Man. So here we have Carnage with Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man. Really not that bad. Pretty decent in scale-wise. Not too bad. I think it goes fairly well. Obviously, the paint and the sculpture is a little bit different, but I think overall looks pretty good. And then here we have Andrew Garfield's version of Spider-Man. You guys can see the height difference right there. I think they're roughly about the same height. Pretty good in my opinion. Let me see. Yep, they're roughly the same height, besides Carnage's head being very excessive. And then here we do have Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. You guys can see that it's somewhat the same height as well, and I think it goes pretty decently together as well. I think all these figures pretty much match up pretty good in my opinion. Let's go ahead and just put all three versions of Spider-Man that I have, and these are from the 3-pack that came out a little over a year ago. Overall, I think this Carnage can be displayed with them. I think it looks pretty good in my opinion. You guys let me know, what do you guys think of adding these versions of Spider-Man alongside Carnage? I do plan on making a shelf strictly just Spider-Man villains and or characters. Overall, really not that bad. Let's go ahead and go straight back into Carnage. Overall, you guys let me know, what do you guys think of this version of Carnage? He's really not as bad as you would think. I think the articulation, the color, the added details to the tentacles make this figure pretty decent. I think for the price point, I think it comes with more than what you would think a figure like this would come with. The only thing is, would have been nice to have an additional head sculpt, but I don't think many symbiote characters come with an additional head sculpt, but I think it would have been nice, considering, you know, the price points of these figures are going up just a little bit more, and then having a little bit more would come a long way. But it does have a good range of accessories, so I guess that's the takeaway right here, is it does come with many different forms of accessories, the added detail with the tentacles, the coloring, everything overall, and it is somewhat of a retro line alongside the animated series of Spider-Man. Overall, I really don't have much complaints of this figure at all. When it comes to articulation, I think this figure is probably a good 8 8.5 out of 10 because he is really well articulated. He can move. His joints aren't too hard or too soft. So the ability to move is pretty good, in my opinion. When it comes to the iconic look of Carnage, I think this one basically nails it. I think it looks exactly like how I would think Carnage would look like, and I'll definitely give this a solid probably 8.5 out of 10 as far as look and accessories. I did definitely give it an 8.5 out of 10 as well. I think this is such a great figure. I just don't like the price point, but overall, the overall figure altogether definitely is a solid 8.5 out of 10, and it definitely is a must pick up in my opinion. But you guys let me know down in the comment section below, did you guys pick up Carnage? Would you guys be able to pick him up since he is a Target exclusive? I think that is also a major downside to this figure, it being exclusive to one retail store. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next review video, which I'm not sure exactly what it would be just yet.